It's the Expedition 33 Game Awards featuring some other nominees.
Welcome to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Jason.
And I'm Chris. This is episode 168.
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33 was nominated for 9, 10, 11, 12 things, I think, including Player's Voice.
Something like that, yes. A lot of things.
It's the most nominated game of all time, and spoiler alert, the most winningest game of all time in the Game Awards.
Yes, it did seem like the Clair Obscur people were on that stage quite a bit during the Game Awards.
I said this last episode, I will say it again. It deserved a lot of it. I don't think it makes for a very good show.
That's the problem. If you have an award show and you can have things that can be nominated in multiple categories, then it gets tricky because it's just the same people from the particular game that come up and give the same variations of the same speech. I mean, they do this with the Oscars sometimes, where you'll have like a best actor and best actress and best director and best movie all from the same movie. And sometimes that gets a little bit repetitive, but this one, at least they could bring a whole set of people so they could mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. And I would say they did a very nice job. No person from the Clair Obscur team gave 2 speeches. They all shared the limelight. So that was very nice. And like the main game director, the main guy, like simply did not speak at any of the awards other than Game of the Year, which spoiler alert. But I mean, Clair Obscur won Game of the Year and he did not speak. Like, I think at one point you can see it on screen where someone's like, hey, do you want to say something? And like, kind of turns to him and says, do you want to say? And he's like, nope, I'm good. And so that was nice. It was a nice thing to make sure that the as much of the team got to say something as possible and you never heard from the same person twice. But I still think, they won 9 things out of the 12 that they were nominated for, or 13. Did I do the math wrong? I think it is 13. If you count all, the multiple best performances they got nominated for. So it was cool. It was nice. It was, yes, they deserved most of them, but it would have been nice to see some other people up there.
They brought their entire team. I mean, they had, I don't know, probably 40 people there, which, as we all know from Summer Game Fest or whatever, is the entire team. It was a small team made of 33 people or whatever that made Clair Expedition 33. So they had like all of their people there. They had 2 or 3 full rows in that theater of just Clair Obscur people wearing red berets. So
I think
was
they said it
fun.
During the Game of the Year acceptance speech where he said, I would say I hope everyone is happy back at home, but we literally brought the whole team. So I know they're all here.
Yeah. I mean, I think they knew that they had a pretty good shot at winning the whole thing. So good for them. I mean, I guess that's fun. Do we need to go through the list of all of the things that they won?
Can we just go through the list of the things they didn't win?
Well, I don't think we have the full list of the things they didn't win.
Well, they didn't win Best Audio Design. They were actually nominated for something and didn't win it.
Okay.
Battlefield 6 won out on that in that case. And they were nominated for Player's Voice, but they did not win Player's Voice. So I don't know if that one actually counts. And then they didn't win 2 of the awards in Best Performance because you can only win once. And they won once and lost twice.
They probably would have won that 3 times if they could have.
They probably would have, yeah.
One thing I did find interesting, I mean, we were just talking about the performances. They had a lot of emphasis, I want to say, on the people, like in both the presenting, I don't know what they call them. I guess they're the presenters of the awards. And then also the award for like best performance and stuff like that. They had a lot of focus, I want to say, on the like voice actors and like the talent specifically behind games. And they had a couple of other things where they announced that it was like, this person is the voice actor, which I hadn't seen as much of that before, other than Troy Baker basically being in everything. So I was surprised and interested in the like emerging personalities of games and the people that do voice acting that like make up games. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did. I think it's starting to come around very similarly to, TV and movies, where perhaps people are making purchasing and playing decisions based on who's in it. I mean, I know in Dispatch, I wasn't particularly drawn to it because of Aaron Paul, but like he was there to make the announcement either during the Game Awards last year or Summer Game Fest. And in the end, I now realize, like, very good actor, definitely elevated Dispatch because he was in it. So, like if you're a fan of someone, I can see why that works. And I can see now, I mean, we've talked about how games are becoming mainstream, right? Becoming the one of the largest entertainment industries as a whole, starting to rival other massive industries. And why not use similar marketing tactics? I see it a little bit of that. I did notice, however, Chris, that like, yes, that they're kind of focusing on the famous people. I did also feel like this particular Game Awards had a lot of rhetoric around celebrating the behind the scenes players, like the developers and the mocap and like the people that you don't hear the names of. Like there was a lot of celebration of that throughout the entire ceremony.
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot more of like all it takes to go into like to actually get something across the finish line, that was nice to hear.
Okay, we have narrowed it down. We are not going to talk about every category because it would be a 5-hour podcast. But we have narrowed it down to a few of the categories that we want to talk about. I think we should fly through it, Chris. I don't know about you, but I just maybe have one or two things to say about each category that we listed here. I think we mostly narrowed it down to either cases where Clair Obscur didn't win or cases where we want to make yet another argument that maybe Clair Obscur shouldn't have won. But just starting at Game of the Year, I think we have to talk about this category. Clair Obscur obviously taking Game of the Year. I don't have any objections here.
I don't think I do either, especially given the competition, right? I mean, you had Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Silksong, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Silksong, I guess I'm surprised didn't make more of a showing, and maybe we'll get to that in a minute, but like that game was so anticipated, but I just wonder if it was too niche.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to some other podcasts, and they were kind of down on the awards in general, just saying it's a popularity contest, right? It's not always about the best game. It's about it's not always about like the game in isolation as being the best game. It's about how many people thought it was a good game. Because all of these games that were nominated are great games. Like we said it last time, I'll say it again, like everything that in general across the board in all categories, I think the nominees are all excellent games. Right. But in this case, I think you're right in that Silksong, while probably I didn't play it, but probably being a very, very, very good game, just simply wasn't as popular as Clair Obscur.
Okay. The next category was Best Game Direction, which was also won by Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This one was interesting because the competition was Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction.
I maintain that I wanted to see Split Fiction's game director up there, and I didn't see him at all the whole Game Awards, which I was disappointed by.
It was even
that's
there.
All I have to say about it. I think he was. I mean, his game got nominated. Wouldn't you be?
Well, the Silksong guys weren't there.
Yeah, I set you up for that one. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this category. Is I still maintain what I said last week, that I wish Split Fiction would have won this or anything else. I don't think I'm scrolling now. I don't know that Split Fiction won anything, and that's a little disappointing.
No, I think the only other thing it was really nominated for was Best Family Game.
Best multiplayer as well, which I don't know that it really deserves that because I don't think of it as a multiplayer. And that's just kind of disappointing. I don't know. I think it deserved something. I think it got covered. Honestly, this year was a really tough year, and it was so early in the year. So this comes down to like the whole meta game that like movies play right now, where they will release at a certain time of the year to have a better shot at an Oscar, because it's an entire game they play on releasing it and, essentially marketing and vying for an Oscar nomination or an Oscar win. I don't know that games are there yet, but Split Fiction had a really bad timing, and so did Indiana Jones, right? Like releasing in December of 25. Like it just, those two games were so long ago, and 2025 was so packed that I think they lost a little bit because of that.
Maybe they need to do like a mid-year Game Awards, like at Summer Game Fest. They should just do the 6-month Game Awards to give everybody a fair chance.
You do it like Windows releases. You got 2025 H1 and 2025 H2.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that is a challenge. Anything that comes out in the first half of the year does tend to get forgotten because you don't remember that it was this year. Like even, I mean, Hades 2 came in 1.0 early summer, I think it was. And that is hard to remember that because it was also in early access for so long. It was hard to remember that actually like happened this year.
That's not entirely fair because Clair Obscur came out in April. But
okay, fine.
I mean, I think it has to do with a packed year because I think some years where, there's not as much. I mean, this year, there's just been so many. I feel so far behind this year. I don't know what happened. I think it's kind of like the pandemic kind of got things like in sync where like 2024 was maybe a little bit of a slow year. And then 2020, I remember 2023 being a big year too. And I just feel like, I don't know. And maybe people are just getting better at making good games. I don't really know, but it's just such a busy year that particularly games, unless they were, really, really, really top notch, like Clair Obscur, they just kind of got forgotten. Okay, we got to keep moving, Chris. The next category, I don't really care about the winner, but it is the only category that Clair Obscur actually lost. Because I don't count player voice, and I don't count best performance because it won but lost twice. Battlefield 6 beat Clair Obscur for best audio design, and I tend to agree with that. I think that Clair Obscur was good, but I think Battlefield 6, I think EA deserves something for doing Battlefield the way they did Battlefield, right? Kind of returning to form, returning to the fundamentals. And I'm happy it won something here.
Did you actually play Battlefield 6?
I did not, but I watched a lot of it. And I think they did a nice job. I mean, it's very popular, right? It's more popular than Call of Duty. It's more popular than a lot of other shooters. So it certainly won the popularity contest there. And I don't know that audio design was the reason it won, but it certainly is an experience. I just remember the Tim the Tatman short. I don't know if you saw this, where like his first 60 seconds in the game is just an absolute like chaos surrounded like mess in such a good way. And I just remember that, and I remember the sounds from that short, and like I remember his reaction to the first 60 seconds of him playing, and that's where I'm like, okay, that's pretty amazing, that's pretty cool. It deserves something there because it wasn't a fluke, right? That was the game the way the game was designed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're up against, I mean, some other big kind of cinematic type games. That's why I was surprised that Battlefield 6 won. I mean, I guess it has a campaign, right? It has all this kind of stuff. But like thinking about like what does audio design mean versus score and music, because audio design is like how do the sound effects work, how does surround sound work, how does all of that kind of play together to make an audio landscape, which a game like Battlefield 6 or like a Call of Duty game, I could see them doing well there because they have such like audio is so important to success in a game like that.
The next category I was going to say something about, but I just looked it up and I realized I was wrong. Best ongoing game, we were going to say, No Man's Sky. I mean, No Man's Sky's been around for a long time and it won again. I was going to say again, it won this year for best ongoing game. And I was going to say, how many years in a row has it won best ongoing game? Because I thought it won last year and I'm looking at the list now and it didn't, Chris.
Really?
Which I'm surprised by. I think it has won in the past, but I'm not going to go back and look at every year in the past. But it did win this year. This is one of those like Phoenix rising from the ashes stories that we always talk about. And they continue. I mean, just this every time they put out a trailer, I'm like, oh man, I should play that game more. I have played it. I've played it a little bit. It is actually a very good game. Just very like I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface. I played for multiple hours in a survival crafting kind of world with a bit of a story, right? Like it's a story driven survival crafting. And I just feel like I haven't even scratched the surface with all of the things it's added over the years. So well deserved here. And it reminds me that I should try it again.
I feel like I've tried No Man's Sky a couple times and never really got into it. Maybe the sixth time is the charm, but I don't know. It's maybe not my thing.
Have you ever gotten to the base building portion?
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's an entire base building portion, like actual survival crafting base building portion that like I've only ever gotten to once or twice. And that's where the game actually is. But I feel like it takes multiple hours to even get there because you like kind of like hang out in your ship for a while and do things in your ship, and you can craft in your backpack and stuff. But at a certain point, you're like, okay, I need to build a base. And that's where it becomes a real survival crafting game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't played enough of it to get to that point. I think part of it is because I only have it on Epic, maybe because it was free at some point on Epic. And so I don't have it on Steam and therefore don't really have it on my Steam Deck, which means I've never had the opportunity to kind of give it a try on the Steam Deck kind of thing. Anyway, good for them, I guess. I mean, that's the choices. The other choices it was up against included Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and Marvel Rivals. So of those, I guess you say good job No Man's Sky as the most indie of those choices.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been surprised if Fortnite got it. But, Fortnite has some pretty cool crossovers.
They do. They definitely do. That's true. But it also, I don't know. The crossovers are cool. Don't get me wrong. Playing the game is also fun. Also true. I don't want it to win things. Like, I don't know. It's
it's too mainstream.
It's too much.
Okay, well, on that topic then, taking it the exact opposite direction and totally in reverse, what is an independent game?
I think the best way to describe it industry-wise is something that doesn't come from like EA or PlayStation Studios or like the big names, Blizzard and Activision and all of that. That kind of makes you an indie game. But I don't know anymore.
So does The Witcher count?
No. There's also seems like there's something to do with team size, which I don't know what it is, but there should be something to do with team size. What do you think an indie game is?
I think there's two definitions here, and I think one of them is a little harder than the other. But I think what people are looking for in best independent game is kind of like it really limits the category. But I think what people are looking for is like self-funded, self-published, right? Like the most strict definition where like something like Ball Pit or Blueprints, right? Where one guy in a basement, I don't know if they got any money, but just kind of doing it on their own. Like no funding, no nothing. And, because there are games like that where someone comes out, Vampire Survivors, right? Like someone just comes out and they're like, I made this game, whatever. Like that's true independent game, right? I think that's too strict of a definition because I think it eliminates things like Hades 1. So I don't know that I totally agree with that. I do think I think that the Joystick Awards, the other big game award or another big game award kind of event describes them as self-published, right? So no publisher, no like you can get funding, but you get funding to your dev team, not from a public, like, I don't know. Again, kind of hard to describe, but anything that doesn't have a publisher. Clair Obscur had a publisher. I don't know. I think Hades is actually self-published. Hollow Knight Silksong, I think, is self-published, right? Obviously they got funding, they have money from something, but they don't have a big publisher. Clair Obscur, while it doesn't have a huge publisher, does have help, right? They did get money from a publisher, and they do have a publisher. So, it's kind of one of those weird things where, yeah, it's an independent development team. They don't have a huge oversight from a PlayStation Studios or something, but they aren't truly on their own.
I don't know. I think your definition of publisher is a little bit off, because even Blueprints had a publisher. It was published. Okay. Yeah, published by Raw Fury, who also did Domekeeper and smaller games like that. Games you might think of as indie games.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, that was wrong. No, I was wrong then, because I would say when you go to the game on Steam, if the developer and the publisher are not the same name, it's not self-published.
Right. And so the developer and publisher are different on Blueprints.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I was wrong there. But for Ball Pit, no, they also had a publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a tough thing. But okay, now I'm fairly certain I'm going to go to Vampire Survivors and see that it's the same name. Yes. That is truly self-published. So yeah, it's a really strict definition. It's really tough. I think Hades 2, right? Hades 2 is also self-published.
Hades,
yeah, Supergiant.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, Supergiant is a big studio now, but they're still self-published. I don't know. It's a really tough thing to define.
It's such a it when you see it kind of a thing. You oh, I know what an indie game is, and I'm not sure that anybody really does anymore. But it's an interesting thing to ponder. Does it have to do with team size? Does it have to do with there's just so many different ways you can think of this. I don't know.
Well, and the other thing is, people say, "Oh, Clair Obscur, it's a AAA game. It's it's big, or it looks like a big game." But I think they recently came out, or someone leaked, that the budget for it was under 10 million. Wow. So even that's compared to AAA games is nothing, right? Call of Duty is the opposite, is hundreds and hundreds of millions, almost billion, almost $1 billion. So you can't do it based on money or budget. You can't do it based on self-publishing. You can't do it based on, funding. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I don't like the, it when you see it either, because, in some cases I would say Clair Obscur is an independent game. Now, in this particular case, do I think it was right for it to win this along with everything else? Probably not. But if it didn't get nominated for everything else, did it deserve Best Independent Game, or did it deserve to get nominated for Best Independent Game? Yeah, I think maybe. I really don't know.
I think we're just a little bit salty because Clair Obscur won everything else, so it doesn't feel indie in that regard, especially because it had a giant marketing push from Microsoft with Game Pass. It didn't feel like it was a indie game, even though it was.
Right.
Anyway, all of that is to say we are at the point of talking about the best independent game and best debut indie game, which is where we talked a lot last episode about, and where I've played most of these games, unlike most of the rest of the categories. So I was invested in these, and I guess, spoiler alert, Clair Obscur won both of them. But the nominees included Ball Pit and Blueprints and Silksong and Hades 2 and Dispatch, which all of those except for Silksong I have played. So I would have liked to have seen anybody other than Clair Obscur actually win these two, only because they won everything else.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Maybe that's not fair. Maybe that's not how it's supposed to work, but I don't know. Blueprints, especially Blueprints, it was such a different and cool and mainstreamy-ish puzzle game that also was on Game Pass, that I wish they would have won something, especially debut indie. I would have been very happy for them. All right, well, enough wallowing. Next category.
An independent game actually won the next category.
Yes, you're right. That's true. Best action game. Which had such nominees as Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Ninja Gaiden 4, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and the winner, Hades 2.
Very surprised by this.
Me too. I figured that Battlefield or Doom had this thing on lock.
I also think it's ridiculous that Hades 2 and Battlefield 6 are in the same category.
They're not the same genre. Yeah, like the first-person shooter is its own thing.
It's not even close.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you got to put it somewhere, so I suppose that's it. Because Hades 2 is an action roguelite. Like, that's its thing. So, I guess.
The next category, Best Action Adventure Game. Does adventure mean you have a map?
No, I don't think so, because...
No, because Split Fiction doesn't have a map. Okay.
And also, like, Indiana Jones also doesn't have a map, but you wouldn't say that Indiana Jones is not an adventure game.
What is the difference between action adventure and action game?
I think action adventure, well, this isn't going to work for Hades, but I think action adventure has more of a story around the journey that you're taking, you know?
Doom doesn't have a story?
Barely. It's not really.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I think of action adventure as something where there's got like something mixes it up. Maybe that's what it is. It mixes up the gameplay between combat and exploration and adventuring, which Hades 2 definitely does not have, and Battlefield definitely does not have. Like, there's no open world section to Doom, like, as far as I know.
Yeah, I guess like the verb explore really doesn't apply to an action game where it does to an adventure game.
Which, although Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I have not played it, but my understanding, if it's anything like Uncharted, it's pretty on rails, right? You kind of go from scene to scene to scene. So there isn't really,
That's true.
But like in the game, there is, you know, you go into a place and there's like, okay, now this is a puzzle section and I need to do, you know, solve the ancient temple puzzle, whatever. And so that makes it adventure-y, I think, because it kind of takes a beat and does that.
Oh, yeah. Adventures have puzzles. Okay.
Potentially. I don't know. I'm grasping a little bit here. Another
category here that I think Split Fiction maybe deserved, but the other nominees, Hollow Knight, Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Ghost of Yote, and Death Stranding 2. All great games. Hollow Knight, Silksong took Best Action Adventure Game. And Jeff Keighley had some words where he was, you know, they won and he said, "See, you actually won something," like into the camera. And,
yeah, that was,
you know, just kind of a poke for them to not showing up.
Right, because they somewhat famously just were like, why would we even bother? We're not going to win. Clair Obscur is going to win everything. We're not going. So they didn't show up. And I guess maybe they should have, because they did win one thing.
Okay, so similarly to the last category, we don't have time for this question, but we wrote it down because I don't really know. I don't know the answer anymore. But what even is an RPG, Chris?
I think it might have to do with skill trees and having skill points.
Okay.
That might be it.
Do you need to be able to equip gear to be an RPG?
It helps.
Okay. Like, RPG stands for role-playing game. I assume it comes from like tabletop role-playing game where you have control over your character. But like, having control over your character is true of Battlefield 6, but you're not really role-playing as okay. Again, we don't have time to get into this. There's actually a really good episode of Triple Click where they really dig into RPG and what an RPG is. I think, Chris, you and I should do that at some point.
Okay, yes, we should do the P&A take on what is an RPG.
But Clair Obscur won this category. So yeah.
Moving on.
I don't know if I have. Yeah. Best family game, Chris.
Yes. This one we did talk at length about last episode, and I am pleased, I guess, to announce that Donkey Kong Bonanza won Best Family Game, which is kind of exciting because I did enjoy that game quite a bit.
All right, you have to play Clair Obscur. I have to finish Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Okay. Well, Clair Obscur, I just looked it up, is on sale right now, so like I'm kind of tempted there. I could just
take advantage of that,
the Game of the Year bump.
Oh, it's a good price too.
Yeah. Well, especially because if you already have Windblown, it's in a bundle and it's $36, which is reasonable for a game like that. Anyway,
you don't have Game Pass anymore.
I don't, but I have an Xbox gift card. I could Game Pass it, but I would almost rather have it to play on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, okay.
Because as Steam tells me, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the top played games on Steam Deck.
Man. Okay. While I agree that it would, like, the controller is the best way to play Clair Obscur, the small screen for the amazingness that is the world of Clair Obscur, I feel like you're doing it a little bit of a disservice if you're not going to play it on a computer, or even better on like a big like TV.
Oh gosh. Okay. One of those, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if you consider like God of War and I don't know, what's another really important big TV game?
I mean, Uncharted.
Like, if you consider those games, like, I need to play them on a TV, Clair Obscur is the same way. Like, it's I'd rather you just play it. Like, the first priority is to play it. But, I think you are doing yourself a little bit of a disservice if you're playing it on a small screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering, I want to play like the first hour on a big screen, and then like once I kind of get the vibe of it, then maybe I could play it on a smaller screen. I don't know.
Each new area you go to, just like plug in the Steam Deck to your TV,
yes.
Play for 15 minutes into the new area, and then you can pick it up and go wherever.
Perfect. Anyway, we were talking about best family game, and somehow this turned back into a Clair Obscur conversation. It's inescapable, Jason. It's inescapable.
It is.
Family Game had a couple of other good options, though. It had Mario Kart and Sonic Racing, Crossworlds, and Split Fiction, and the 2 Lego games, all in Best Family Game. So that was kind of a stacked category in itself.
I would like to note, I always say it's an honor to get nominated, right? And Lego has been doing a very nice job on their video game things lately, right? I've seen a lot of Lego stuff. I mean, their story games like Batman and the Skywalker Saga, those are great games. And Lego Party, I heard, was great. Lego Voyagers, the second in a very cool 2-player adventure. I've just seen a lot of really positive, good Lego stuff, and I feel like I don't know who they have leading their either video game licensing or video game division over there. I don't know who's actually making these games, but I just remember Lego games always being like the thing you get, like, I think of it as the CD you get out of a cereal box kind of quality of game,
That's selling them a little short, way. But okay.
Maybe a little short, but like, it's come a long way. I think they're putting out some very quality games in the last few years. And I guess I didn't note it last episode, but I'm kind of seeing it here on the list this episode. Having 2 games by Lego in the best family game is a pretty good achievement, and is not what I remember for the brand.
Okay. I don't think they've changed that much, but it's interesting that you think they've like grown up, I guess. But I mean, they have a little bit.
Yeah, taking it seriously.
Yeah, I guess.
Can we talk? Okay, the next category. The honestly, the most disappointing win of the entire night.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, other than Clair Obscur winning both indie categories.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, the next category is best sports/racing game, which you would not expect us to talk about at all because we're not really big sport game people. But racing games, this category included both Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Crossworlds, in addition to a couple of other sports games. And Mario Kart World won over Sonic Racing, which doesn't feel great.
And Rematch, Rematch is not a racing game, but it's Rocket League without the rocket cars.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Which was a pretty good game. Pretty popular. I don't know. Mario Kart World is not a good game.
Mario Kart World is not a good Mario Kart game.
No, I'll take it a step further. I don't think it's a good game at all.
Okay.
I think they just missed the mark on it. I think they tried to innovate too much, and they lost sight of what makes Mario Kart and games good. I don't know. Maybe I haven't really done the whole collectathon thing. I think you've done more of the collection thing in the open world, and maybe that makes it a little better. And the maps are cool, but like I just simply do not have fun with Mario Kart World. Just period.
The open world stuff makes it more fun, but it doesn't make it like a great Mario Kart game.
I have heard that they continue to put out updates for the game and have made some of the things that I didn't like better. So I don't know. Maybe I should give it another shot, especially after this win. But this was a little disappointing to me. I would have loved to see something other than Mario Kart World win this category.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is not as polished as Mario Kart, but it is maybe a better kart racer in this kind of generation of kart racers. So anyway, that would have been my pick, probably would be Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. All right, last category we're going to talk about of the awards, most anticipated game. This one didn't even need to be a category because I'm pretty sure everybody could guess what it would be now that Silksong is out. There's no even competition at all for that. No. The winner, of course, is Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about this because I don't care at all about GTA 6, but the other nominees are interesting to me.
Which one? Multiple or just one of them? Because I'll maybe jump ahead a little bit and say I'm pretty interested in The Witcher 4, but I don't know about the other ones. Maybe I don't know anything about them.
Witcher 4 is definitely interesting to me, although I haven't played The Witcher 3. I just bought it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to play it and then see if I want to play Witcher 4. But the ones that are most interesting to me, one of them is Marvel's Wolverine, which I think is a PlayStation exclusive. And the other one is 007 First Light, because I am still looking to fill the Uncharted shaped hole in my gaming world.
Okay. We may have news on that coming up. But, okay. All right. I don't know enough about those two other games. I mean, is Wolverine like a third person action game?
I don't know if I'm assuming it must be third person, but yes, I think if it's I think of it, if it's in the vein of Marvel Spider-Man, like and Spider-Man 2 and all that, then it should be good. It's the same people, right? It's Insomniac. It's the same developer. So like more Marvel Universe stuff from that team that's done really well 3 times already. Like I'll take it. So I'm looking forward to that, especially because Wolverine is also a little bit more of a you can do a little bit more character development. I mean, they do a lot of character development in Spider-Man 2, but like Wolverine is more of a gritty character, you know?
I'm taking bets, Chris, on whether Grand Theft Auto 6 wins most anticipated game again in 2026.
Which would require it. Wait, it's not coming out in 26?
Oh, it is. But it was supposed to come out in 25.
Ah, right, of course.
So what are the chances it wins again next year?
Uh-huh. I think it's got to be actually coming out at some point here soonish, right? Like they have to publish the game
eventually, yeah. But it was supposed to come out, wasn't it delayed multiple, wasn't it like May, and then it was late 25, and now it's late 26, or is it mid 26? I don't actually know.
Grand Theft Auto is so far off my radar that I don't keep up, other than for this kind of conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it would be hilarious if it got delayed again and won most anticipated game again. Okay. That's everything we have written down for the awards of the Game Awards. But as we all know, the Game Awards aren't really about the awards. It's about the advertisements.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. So we have a list of a few of these. We have a list of, I don't know, 15 or 20 things that we pulled out of interesting, but there were like, I don't know, 50 or 75 things that were announced, weren't there?
Oh yeah, there was a lot. I mean, I would say, I guess we always talk about this in previous years. I would say it was a pretty good balance between time spent on awards and time spent on advertisements. Obviously it was more time spent on game announcements and ads, but I didn't think it was a bad balance.
No, and it didn't feel like they were rushing the award people off the stage. Maybe they were just doing it quietly, but like there was no controversy of them, you know, rushing somebody off the stage while they were giving a heartfelt speech and crying or whatever. Like they did a good balance of like the award show thing and also the commercial aspect of it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. We have taken that list of 70 or so things that were announced. I don't actually know the number, down to 12 things we want to talk about. We are already 45 minutes in, Chris. So let's just get started.
Yep. We gotta go.
They had a pre-show. They always have a pre-show to the actual show. And honestly, I think 4 of the things we wrote down are from the pre-show. Mostly me. Well, I guess there's some split here, but the very first announcement, the very first thing they talked about, was they just said, we need to make a cozy game that Jason is going to buy instantly. And they just started off with a bang. I have a border collie. She is my puppy. She's my favorite. Her name is Ellie. She's named after Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. She's the best. And the very first game they showed was called The Free Shepherd, which is about a border collie like herding like sheep in, I assume, the mountains of Scotland or something. And it just looked like a cozy game where you run around in the fields and, you know, kind of like herd sheep into pens and stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. This is the best. What more could you want from a game? And I'm not big into cozy games, but this is going to be an absolute instant buy for me.
This is the dog person's version of Stray, the game that came out a couple years ago.
Yes. Yes.
I haven't played Stray yet, although I'm more interested in Stray than this. I'm not really a dog person, but Ellie is a cute dog. That being said, this is not for me, but it is definitely for you, and I look forward to your review whenever it comes out in 2027.
So far. But yes, yeah, I'm excited for this.
All right, the next one. They did a big like techno EDM trailer thing. From the makers of Audio Surf comes a new game called AudioMech, which had a demo out that day of the Game Awards, which I have played. So I actually went ahead and downloaded this and gave it a try on my Steam Deck. And I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No. It does the thing where like, you know, you play any audio you want and it just basically tees into your audio subsystem and like listens to whatever's coming out of your speakers. So like you can put YouTube on, you can put Spotify on, you can put whatever on. And then it basically uses an equalizer to and like bandpass filters to figure out what to like generate essentially. So it generates both the enemies and your attacks based on the music that you're listening to. So if you're listening to some big thumpy bass song, you have, they call it's like the bass sword or something like that. And like that's your melee attack. And it exists basically on the beats of your music, which is okay. Kind of cool. But then they have like treble bombs where you can drop bombs that are, I guess, fueled by the high pitched noises in your music. And then they have something else that's like a thing where you fly around and it's based on the leads and vocals, they said. So those are the 3 major things. And then you have enemies, and it's like sometimes you have to match your attacks to the enemies. It's all procedurally generated, obviously, because you can play literally any audio you want and it just makes a game out of it, which is cool. Like it's a really cool technique, but in practice, it was not that fun.
So this was made by the developers of Audio Surf, but it reminds me much more of the game Beat Hazard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is
that.
Almost exactly the same. Play any song you want, and there's enemies, and the content of the level is determined by the music. I actually really like Beat Hazard, so I'm interested. I'm surprised to hear you say that you didn't like this. I'm going to have to try it and see what I think, but I think you and I would like Beat Hazard. I mean, like I've played I used to play it in college with a friend, and I think Beat Hazard's a very fun game if you have the right music. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to compare here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Beat Hazard is a little different. I have played Beat Hazard a long time ago, and I have Beat Hazard 2 in my library. I just looked it up. this game is just something about it being kind of a platformy game, and maybe I didn't get the full experience because I did use the built-in song. I didn't play my own audio. I used they have obviously a song in there that you can play in the tutorial. It just didn't grab me. Although I did only really play the tutorial, but after the tutorial I was just like, eh. So you should give it a try and let me know what you think, because I expected to at least kind of like this, and I really bounced off of it.
You said you had Beat Hazard 2. I am now finding out that there's a Beat Hazard 3.
Holy cow.
Okay, moving on. Okay, the next one, not a game announcement, but I had to write it down because Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity, which is their latest expansion, had a trailer. Guild Wars 2 always tries to advertise during the Game Awards. They've had an advertisement or an ad or a something in the Game Awards for the last couple of years, and every year it sucks. I think if you go back and listen to our podcast last year, our episode last year on the Game Awards, I talk about how bad the marketing is for Guild Wars and how players and community content is so much better. I am happy to report that this year's Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity trailer that was played during the Game Awards pre-show was pretty good.
It was fine.
It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't awesome. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they tried. I don't know. I didn't pay close attention to this because I have played Guild Wars 2, so I know what Guild Wars 2 is, so I didn't need to be marketed to. But I was happy to see them trying.
Pretty good is a huge improvement over terribly awful, though. So I'm going to give it to them.
Okay, fine.
I wish they would have focused. So the one thing with Visions of Eternity, and this is me adding to the advertisement, I don't know how they would do it, but it's the first, like I said in my review, it's the first time where you're actually like the player's expectations are subverted and it's not just an obvious story and the villain is very good. I wish they could show that somehow, but honestly, like, it's such a surprise when you get there. Like, again, I am trying not to spoil it too much. I wish they could lean into it in their advertising somehow to like say, hey, it's actually a really serious story at some points. And they don't. They focus on everything else, which is fine. But it's such a positive aspect of this expansion. I wish they could figure out a way to lean into it at all. But that's all I'll say about it. I just wanted to applaud them on not being terrible this year and say that Guild Wars 2 is a great game. And it is, I mean, the two MMOs I play, Guild Wars and Warframe, both have steady or increasing player counts, which is a very hard thing to do in the MMO space. So I'm going to keep, pounding those drums on they're good games. Come and play them if you're looking for an MMO. And I guess that'll end the ancillary Guild Wars 2 advertisement.
The last game we had from the pre-show was actually one of the things I'm most excited about, I think, which is a game called Bradley the Badger, which does not, by the name, sound like a game that would be interesting. But they did a very, very clever trailer of this game where you basically take on the role of a 2D platform character that exists in a 3D world to themselves. So it's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph in that way. But then stuff starts happening to his world and you start to get a bunch of things that as a player you recognize as meta game dev stuff. But as a character, he doesn't know anything about it because, it's like the fish in water kind of thing.
Yeah, it was very cool. I liked that a lot. It was very funny.
Right. I think hopefully it sticks to the landing, but like this is the kind of game, again, probably an indie-ish game. I don't know if it's actually an indie game, but gives that kind of feeling that I would be interested to give it a try.
Did it turn into a live action thing at the end, or was that just for the trailer?
I think that was just for the trailer. I don't think that's in the game.
Because that was weird.
It was, yes, it was very weird.
This looks really fun. This looks like a really fun, I'll use the term action adventure game.
Aha.
Yeah, right. Just I don't know if it's tongue in cheek humor, but it's, it's clever. You're like, just as an example, right? Like you're going around game worlds, and one of the things that you're doing is like extending like the missing texture object, where it's just like black and white boxes, and like those are your platforms that you're jumping around on. Like it's this big like crafted world, but you're like running on top of these black and white box texture objects. It just kind of funny, kind of cool. I'm trying to find the one scene that I think I laughed out loud at. He like gets dropped into a new area. One of the areas is called Badgerborn, which I think is a play on Bloodborne. It's all like this old medieval stuff. There's there's an area that is like only half finished, and it's got a big like label on it that says waiting for review. And I'm trying to find the last. Oh, he drops into like a futuristic area, and it's called Cyber Badger. Which it looks the font is exactly like Cyberpunk. And then he drops into like a zombie area, and it's called The Last Badger. These are all in the trailer. Like very funny, very meta commentary on other games and the way things are made. So if they haven't done all of their jokes in the trailer, which is always a worry of mine, where all of the funny is wasted in the trailer and there's no more funny in the whole game. If there's more funny, then I think this will be a pretty fun and good game.
All right. So now moving on to the main show. The first thing that we have on our list here, Jason is watching this. I mean, we're watching it together, and he goes, "I know that ship." And then
I did say that.
And I was like, I don't know the ship, but I did recognize the sounds of like the ship engines and stuff like that. It kind of pinned it as a Star Wars game kind of immediately. And so I guess we'll cut to the chase.
Okay. Nope. I want to walk you through my head, because I think you're going to jump ahead here. I knew the ship was from the Old Republic era.
Oh, okay. All right.
Immediately knew it was an Old Republic Star Wars ship.
Huh. Okay. I did not know that, because I'm not as in tune with that kind of stuff, but I'm glad that you did. Anyway, this is Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, which is undated.
Yeah. Undated. And like importantly, not a remake.
No, this is a brand new, like totally new Star Wars Old Republic game.
Yes. And I say that because there have been lots of rumors about Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake, having a remake, Knights of the Old Republic 2 having a remake. This not KOTOR remake, a brand new Fate of the Old Republic. You said no date on this. There was a tweet that went out the next day after the Game Awards that said likely not before 2030.
Which is insane. That's 4 years away. 4.5 years away.
Why announce it? Why announce it?
Yeah.
Why announce it? Here's my thing. We've had so many Star Wars games get announced and then nothing happened with them.
Right.
I think the last one I remember is Eclipse, Star Wars Eclipse.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Crazy cool trailer, right? Like such a cool. This one, very cool trailer. It ended up being very cinematic, very cool. And I don't think it, like, this marketing actually turned me off and away from it, because I just can't get excited about this game, because I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pretend it might not get canceled in the next 4 years. Like, that's the part that I'm worried about, and that just keeps me from getting excited about it.
Yeah, that's tough. Games, I wish and Witcher 4 is in the same boat, right? It's not dated, isn't it?
Not that I know of.
So like the games, and I guess GTA is guilty of this as well, but like you almost just don't want to know at least not see like trailers and stuff. Like you could just say like we're working on the next Star Wars game or something like that, and just like in general just be like there is a Star Wars game coming, or there is a, you know, GTA coming or whatever. But like I feel like you shouldn't put out trailers, and we talk about this every year, but you shouldn't put out trailers if you're not going to release in the next like 18 months. Like, and I would love to personally pin it down to the next like 10 months, but I know that that's not going to happen, so I'll give you 18.
I think Elder Scrolls did it right.
I mean, that's essentially what they did for this, though, right? I mean, they had kind of this cinematic thing, and then they said,
nah, they showed you a character. They, you know, the tiniest. I mean, they did a little bit more than that. Why put all the money into that trailer and like try to generate hype if all they could do is say, you know, do like a ship flying across the screen that says "Fate of the Old Republic," you know, in development or something. It could have gotten the same effect for me, and I would have been like, oh, that's cool. I'm excited to learn more about that game. When I saw the trailer, I was just like, I'm skeptical if this is ever going to come out, because they put all this money into a trailer, and that's what they did last time. And then I saw nothing about it, and then I heard it was canceled. Right? Like, it's following the same trajectory so far. Not that to say it's the same thing's going to happen. You're right. I would be happy. 18 months is a pretty good time frame, right? Like, because that means anything released early 2027, which we've already talked about, right? Free Shepherd is one of them, and some other things we'll talk about. Early 2027 gets announced at Game Awards 2025.
Yeah, right. And that would be reasonable. They did that, right? When Xbox did that at their showcase like a year or two ago, where they just said like everything we announce is going to be out this year or whatever, like in the next 12 months or whatever. Like,
yes. Yeah.
I want more of that.
It made me pay attention so much more.
Right. Because you know that all the stuff you see, you're going to be able to actually play before you forget about it.
There were a few games that were no release date announced, no idea when it's coming out. And the next one, while very exciting, is another example of that. Now, I trust this studio a little bit more. Larian announced their next game called Divinity, which is a continuation of the Divinity story, with another huge, amazing cinematic trailer. And yeah, there's a little bit more trust there. They haven't, released a cinematic trailer and not followed through on it before. But it's another one of those cases where we have no idea when this thing is coming out.
No, and this is the thing that they made the biggest hype out of, because they built that whole thing in the desert. They built the big, big rock thing in the desert, and everybody was speculating about it and all this stuff. But in the end, it turned out to be an announcement for a game that's coming eventually. Like, again, another one of these. But they had a very pretty trailer. I mean, they had a very interesting, get you invested in it trailer.
Yeah, it was a very, very good trailer. It was a very good cinematic. I mean,
it wasn't even a trailer. It was a cinematic.
Yeah, it maybe introduced the main bad guy. I don't really know. We don't really know, but it built a story in 2 minutes, and I immediately was like, okay, this is cool. Didn't know it was Larian until the end. So that was actually a really cool reveal that they did the whole thing, and you're like, oh man, is this Diablo? Is this, who is, because you get the creepy vibes and all that. And you didn't really know who it was. And then at the end, obviously Larian Studios logo comes up. It's just a very cool reveal, a very cool way to announce their next game. I wish I liked turn-based RPGs more.
Is that what this is going to be? Is that what Divinity is? I don't actually know.
I don't know. I think Divinity is that. But Baldur's Gate 3, great game of the year, right? Very cool. I've tried to play it. I can't get into it. I can't do it. And I want to experience that story so bad, but I just can't get into the turn-based stuff. So I've actually looked for mods of I know I'm getting a little off the subject here, but I've looked for mods for Baldur's Gate 3 that skips combat. It's just oh wow, it just does it for you. And goes really fast. I've also looked for mods of Baldur's Gate 3 that turns it into real-time combat.
Oh, come on.
Just more like an RTS than it is a turn-based RPG.
Wow. You really hate turn-based games, huh?
I just can't do it. It's so slow, and I just don't care for it. But I want to experience the story, and I I'm gonna have to look into what Divinity was in the past. But if it's a turn-based RPG, I mean, I trust Larian to make a very good game, like a very good story, and support mods. So I'll try it the same way I tried Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't know that I'll be able to do it.
I was just thinking about Baldur's Gate 3 the other day and how I want to go back and play it a little bit, probably on my own. Like, we tried to play it together with a bunch of people, but that is just not possible these days. But I want to go back and try and like do some of that story and stuff, because I can do the turn-based stuff. That doesn't bother me that much. But I just haven't gone back to it since we played it a couple years ago.
Divinity 2 Original Sin is a turn-based RPG.
I mean, it makes sense. It's Larian. That's kind of their thing.
It is kind of their thing.
Okay, we got to keep moving.
Yeah, got to keep moving. Next game, Exodus by Wizards of the Coast. They're the people that make Magic the Gathering. I have no idea how this fits into that universe. I don't know if it does or not, but they announced a game, Exodus, that gave very Mass Effect vibes. Like sci-fi, aliens, potentially dialogue, potentially choices matter. Wasn't exactly clear, but the vibes were very Mass Effect. And I was like, I kept like going back and forth between like, oh, this seems really cool, and really, did he just say that super corny, cheesy line? Like, I cannot count how many times during the trailer the term "chosen one" was said.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a problem. Like, what bland dialogue. Like, what a way to just set up a game to be like, okay, so I'm special. Why? Like, what is this? And then like, there's this battle scene, and like, it's the most generic motivational speech in the world. But then they show other stuff, and I'm like, that's so cool. So like, man, I bounced back and forth on this during the 30-second or 1-minute trailer so many times, and I have just decided that I will wait for reviews on this one, but I am going to keep an eye on it.
I don't have the like nostalgia for Mass Effect, so this isn't like exciting to me, but it looked cool. Like, it was a cool looking game. But I don't know that I'm going to make time to play this game unless it is like Clair Obscur level, Game of the Year material.
Yeah. And based on the trailer, I really find that hard to believe.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is a really quick hit, but I did want to mention it because it seemed like a very large section of the show, and by volume of people, it certainly was the largest thing
there
that they had there
on stage.
But they did a big trailer for the Street Fighter movie, and then they had the entire cast. Like, they had an entire choose your character screen's worth of people on the stage, with all of the actors and actresses and everybody that's playing all of the characters in the Street Fighter movie, including Jason Momoa, which was interesting. So I'm not like super interested. I don't really play Street Fighter. I'm not really into the fighting games that much. I mean, I did play a little bit of Street Fighter 2 way back in the day. But I just wanted to mention, like, this is the big thing. Like, a couple years ago, they did Fallout was their big like game adaptation, announcement thing. And so this was the big game adaptation announcement thing for this year.
I have nothing to add, Chris.
Okay.
So I will move us along and say Tomb Raider seems like a cool game.
Yeah, it does seem like a cool game. I missed most of Tomb Raider, but this looks like the thing, like I keep saying, the Uncharted shaped hole in my gaming world. This might be it. They did this really cool thing where they did a double announcement in one like video and one trailer, which was super cool. Like, they announced a new Tomb Raider game called Tomb Raider Catalyst, and then at the end of the trailer, the Lara Croft, she just goes, and it reminds me of the beginning. And then it like goes back to this flashback. And that turns out to be a whole nother trailer for a whole new remake of the first Tomb Raider called Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. So they're making like 2 Tomb Raider games at once, which I think is really cool.
And they look stunning.
Oh yeah. They are, yes, excellent looking games for sure.
The Legacy of Atlantis is coming in 26, and I'm pretty sure they announced Catalyst is coming in 27. So like they are within your 18-month timeline requirement.
See, it's perfect.
Have you played any Tomb Raider before?
I have played a little bit of one of the Tomb Raiders that came out in the last like 10 years. I played like the first couple hours of it, and it was funnish. I didn't get into it enough to get into the story to get kind of hooked, but that I think was just more of a symptom of my not having time to sit down and play it. But I do want to get back. I actually have those 3 games. I think it was, Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, or maybe I got the order wrong. But anyway, those are the ones. I have all 3 of those in my Steam library, and I'm looking forward to playing them at some point.
She was shooting guns a lot in the trailer, like double pistols or whatever. Uncharted, I seem to remember, is much more about the puzzles and whatnot, and not a whole lot of combat. I'm thinking in my head that Tomb Raider is a little bit more of an even split between the two. Is that a fair assumption?
I don't know. I haven't played a lot of the Tomb Raider games, but I think there's more shooting in Uncharted than you're remembering. There's a lot more guns in Uncharted than you think. But there are certainly a lot of scenes in Uncharted where they're more stealth focused or they're more story focused, and you're doing more sneaking and puzzling and stuff. But then they also get into some situations where you just have like gauntlets of enemies to shoot at, which are my least favorite part of the Uncharted games.
Yeah, and they're both third person.
They are both third person, yes.
Important for me to note, because as much as I want to play the Indiana Jones game, I cannot get over the first person of it.
Sorry.
It's all right.
From there, we'll go on to our next game that we saw, which was another very fancy rendered cinematic with lots of demon energy. And that was for Diablo 4. That has a new expansion coming out in the spring.
Blizzard can sure make cinematics that make you want to play their game.
Especially Diablo cinematics. Diablo cinematics are always the best. Like they had one, the one with the lady in the boat. Remember the one with the boat and the crystal and whatever? Like
they're so good.
Yeah, they have very good cinematics.
I mean, Blizzard in general, just good. The thing I didn't write this down, but the thing I wanted to note here is that they did drop a release. They dropped an update that released Paladins to Diablo 4, like the day of. Mm-hmm. And the next World of Warcraft expansion seems to be very Paladin story focused.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if they're doing anything there. I don't think so, but it was a very cool trailer. Big fiery hammer, big glowing shield against hordes and some big bad. It was just so cool. It makes it like I'm watching this trailer and like I've never played Diablo 4. I've never really gotten into, I played Path of Exile 2 a little bit, but like never really gotten super into the ARPGs. And I'm watching this trailer and I'm like, man, I should try Diablo 4. And like it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? Like it's working. It's working. So that I don't know. That's just why I wanted to note it.
Yeah, I played Diablo 3 a little bit. I don't think I played Diablo 4 at all. But they're okay. If you like that kind of game, they're a decent version of it, I guess.
It's come a long way since release. I think it's better than it was at release. So, Okay. We poo-pooed on Star Wars at the top, and then they said, also, by the way, another Star Wars game. And immediately I was like, 2 Star Wars games? 2? Like, what? But we got a trailer and an announcement. I don't think it had been announced at all, for Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is not a pod racing game, which I thought was interesting. It is a speeder racer game, which I don't know, whatever. It's still high octane, very fast, similar scenery to what you would expect from pod racing, but not pod racing. So that's an interesting tidbit. But unlike the other Star Wars game, Fate of the Old Republic, that doesn't have a release date and probably won't come out this decade, Galactic Racer is scheduled to come out next year.
Yeah, I mean, this game looks cool. I mean, when they put resources into making a cool looking Star Wars game, they usually succeed. Like Battlefront 2, that was the game?
Battlefront,
yeah. Like, so I don't know. I have decently high hopes for this. Hopefully it's good. It'll all come down to like how deep the gameplay is and how much they charge for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, because if this is a $40 game, it's probably an instant buy for me. But if it's a full $60 or $70 game, it's gonna be a wait for sales. Probably not as aggressive of a sale as Outlaws, because a racing game, generally racing games are just good, right? Like, it's really hard to mess up a racing game that bad. I mean, obviously I'll wait for the reviews to say that it's not like a total pile of garbage, but if it's a $40 game, that makes it much more appealing to me. This game's already on my wish list. I anticipate probably buying this, pretty soon after release. Particularly, like you said, if it's not a full AAA priced game. The last thing that they announced at the Game Awards as a new game was supposed to be this, like, not one more thing, because it wasn't at the end, but it was right before the Game of the Year announcement. And like Jeff Keighley did his like, I'm so honored to be able to announce this. They've been developing it in secret and we get to reveal it here. And I was like, oh my God, what is about to get announced? Like, this is so cool. Like, this is the thing we always wait for at the Game Awards. And they built it up, and then they show this trailer that was a pretty cool trailer, but in the end, the game Highguard, to me, just looked like another hero shooter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free-to-play hero shooter thing, a PvP raid shooter, which is what they say on the Steam page, from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall. So it's one of those. It doesn't look different. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. PvP raid shooter is a weird combination of words to me. But it just doesn't seem to be setting itself apart in any meaningful way. And for it to be like the huge announcement at the end. Now, part of the reason it's a huge announcement is because they've been developing in secret and it comes out in January, which is really cool, right? The game right around the corner, huge free to play, from a lot of talented developers. But I just don't see the target audience here, or like what they're going for, or like maybe the trailer didn't explain what the game is very well, because I just saw a hero shooter, right? I just saw another Overwatch or another Marvel Rivals with, maybe a couple of gimmicks like breaking walls down or something like that. But the words PvP raid shooter, now that you mention it, like, just seem weird to me. I don't know. I just don't understand why Jeff Keighley was so excited about it. Is it called a raid shooter because they're trying to capitalize on arc raiders? Like,
I don't know. I mean, some of the things they show, like, potentially are like game mechanic-y, where like they spawn a big tank and it like does something and they're going after objectives, which maybe are akin or similar to like Destiny raids.
Oh, yeah, could be.
But it's also PvP, so maybe the enemies in that raid are players rather than NPCs. I don't know. It's not super clear to me. Off the bat, not something I'm super interested in, but I have a feeling this is one of those games that's, because it's free to play, is going to show up in our Discord and be like, guys, we should play this. And I don't know. I'll probably, if that happens, I'll probably download it and try it. But I personally don't see the appeal here.
I mean, we played Marvel Rivals this past year, so we should definitely play this. Like, give it a try if it's free to play and decently acceptable to play with people. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. It does look like just kind of another one of those, but also it has some good world building, which I'm always a sucker for. Like that's one of the things I like the most about Overwatch and Overwatch 2. So I am not against this to play, once or twice with some friends kind of thing.
It was a weird end to the show, in my opinion. It was just a weird, like, I feel like the Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic would have been a better, like, hey, we're announcing, like, it's not here for a while, but let's hype it up. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there were other things to put at the end that would have been cooler. I don't know. Just a weird end for me. So that's it. That's all we have written down.
Yes, those were all the announcements that came that we were interested in talking about. There was obviously a whole bunch more that we didn't talk about, but you can go and watch the whole almost 4-hour video if you want to actually see everything that they announced and everything that they did.
What'd you think of the length?
It was pretty long. I mean, I guess I should mention that you and I watched it the next day on YouTube and were able to skip through all of the stuff we didn't care about. So all of the scary games and stuff, they did some giant long thing about Resident Evil again, and we could just like skip the whole thing, which was actually really nice. But 3.5 or I think it's about 3.5 hours long is a long
with
show.
The pre-show.
Yeah. So it's a 3-hour show and then a 30-minute pre-show. Like it's long, but I mean, that's about right for a full-fledged award show. Like the Oscars are kind of the same length, I think.
I thought the length was okay. I mean, I think it's been consistent year after year now. So I'm kind of I'm ready for it, expecting going in, right? Like, oh, it's good. It's going to be 3.5 hours. But you're right. I almost feel like next year, I mean, I would have rather have watched it the night of, but obviously scheduling conflicts, and I did media blackout for a day, so I didn't see anything. So I was surprised by it all, the day after. But I almost feel like it's, it starts at 7:30. I feel like you and I should sit down to start watching it at like 8:30. Yeah, 8:30, 9 o'clock, because we'll just watch it a little bit behind and then speed it up. I think there was one point, was it Todd Howard that I was like, two times speed, here we go. Because I didn't want to skip it, but also like I was just like, I'm not watching this at 1 time speed.
Right.
So
yes.
I feel like doing that next year is the way I would, because I would like to watch it night of. That would be, that would be best, because you're so at risk of getting spoiled on stuff the next day. But
there was nothing to spoil this year because it was all Clair Obscur, so you're fine.
Yeah, good point. But I don't know that I need to watch the 5 Amazon Prime ads, which were tastefully placed. They were fine. Or the, like you said, the 8-minute Resident Evil mini clip in the middle. So that was the best way to do it.
Real quick at the end here, I did want to mention a couple of things we did not see, which were on my list. And I guess one of these won't surprise you because I just keep hope alive. But there was nothing about the Final Fantasy IX remake, which this is the 25th anniversary. This would have been a perfect time to do it. If they're doing it, they should announce it, but they did not announce anything about Final Fantasy IX. And the other one that was actually, I truly did expect to see something about was Slay the Spire 2, which is coming out in March. But they were nowhere to be found after last year at the Game Awards saying we're coming out in 2025, which obviously is not happening. I was expecting an apology trailer.
That would have been so funny and so like on brand for them and very cool. I think that would have been a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know, like, how much does it cost to get a trailer at the Game Awards? Like, is it worth it to them because they already have all the hype they need? But, like, it would have been fun to see just even 30 seconds of, like, last year we told you we were coming out now, but, like, next year, just kidding, we're coming out next year. So, anyway, they didn't do that, but I'm still keeping some interest in my gaming calendar for March to play Slay the Spire 2 a lot.
There was nothing that I didn't see that I was hoping for. I will say Stagecraft, amazing. the screens, the tunnels, the fireworks, the light show. They did a really nice job on the stream this year of showing this stage when it was important to show the stage.
Yes.
Like particularly during, I think it was it was either the Diablo or the Divinity trailer, where like the whole room was lit to match like what was going on screen. They showed the screen on the stage rather than just showing you the video.
Right.
So that was really cool. I really liked that. There were lots of fireworks. The orchestra was fantastic. Flute guy was great. I'm glad they focused on some of the other characters in the orchestra. I think either the bass player or the guitar player was a bit of a feature this year. The piano player, the keyboard player was a bit of the feature, but he was the most stoic piano player I've ever seen in my whole life. Which was a thing, right? Which was, funny in itself in comparison to Flute Guy. Flute Guy did do a post interview, and that was great. So, but I loved the show itself. I thought it was great. I did not care for the Miss Piggy segment at all.
Yeah. The Muppet thing it's always a little bit of a thing, but, yes, the Miss Piggy thing was a clever idea. Like they were trying to do the like satirical song about the show that you're in, but like the way that it was like hyped and then the way that it was done was a little bit weird, I guess I'll say. They were trying to do like, it's like when Neil Patrick Harris hosts the Tonys, right? And they do the big song about all the Tony nominees or whatever. It was that kind of a thing. And, as a song, it was fine. It's just the way that it was presented, I guess, was a little bit over the top.
I preferred the old guys in the balcony from last
Statler and Waldorf, yeah.
Yes, I thought that was funny. Those jokes did not pull any punches. I mean, they were funny. So that was good. The Muppets being part of the show is kind of cute, and I think that would be cool if it continued. I generally just don't like Miss Piggy. Like I don't really care for her as a Muppet, which probably was what turned me away from it a little bit. But I'd be interested in see what they continue with next year, in that world.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's kind of tradition at this point for them to do something Muppety. So I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Jeff Keighley ended the night by announcing the dates, if they aren't already known, for the Summer Game Fest, and they did not announce a date for the Game Awards 2026, but he did say that they are happening in December in the same theater in 2026. Oh, Chris, if we could go, oh my God, I don't know. I would only go if we got good seats though, because I did see a picture that someone took from one of the seats that was kind of far away that I think you and I looked at, and it's such a better experience watching it on stream than it is being there. But there's a little bit of hype that goes along with it.
Yeah, this one, I don't know if I would be as interested to be there in person. Like, sure, I'd like to just to kind of say we did it, but like, I don't know if you would get as much out of it because half the room is the nominees and the winners and stuff. And
right.
Then it's not like it's just a fan thing or just like a gamer hype thing or whatever. And games, also the other piece is like games as a concept are just very broad. And so like, you would be sitting there as they do the like fully immersive horror game, announcement trailer thing.
True.
In the room. And that would just be unpleasant, I think, if you're not really into the horror stuff. So I don't know that I when I think about it objectively of like, would this be fun? It would be fun to say we went, but I don't know if it would actually be fun in the day, like on the day.
I agree. I think it'd be cool to see some of the stuff live, but the 3.5 hours would wear on you, particularly, like you said, for the segments that you don't care for.
Yeah, you can't just show up at 9:00 and skip through. Like that doesn't work in person.
Yes. Okay. Come tell us everything we missed. Obviously, we watched the whole thing. We wrote down what we cared about. There was so much that we missed, and we're already running long. So, we just got complimented the other day about the length of our show, and then we've totally ruined it on the very next episode.
Ruined.
So we're going to try to keep it as short as we can by saying keep the conversation going outside of the podcast by joining our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find any of our older episodes or read our show notes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would love if you could share it with some others that might enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Whew, that was a lot of stuff to talk through.
It was so much.
We didn't even talk about games. Like, we didn't talk about playing games. We just talked about watching games.
Have you played anything?
I have played a lot of things. Like, I think last episode we talked about how I got the Risk of Rain 2 DLC. I played that. I picked up Dispatch and I finished Dispatch since we last spoke.
Ooh. Okay, so our next episode is a spoiler cast about Dispatch.
We got to figure out we got to kind of do some planning and see what our next couple of episodes look like, because we are in that season where we kind of have the on rails annual stuff going on. So we got to figure out when all that's. We got to look at a calendar. But at some point, we definitely should talk about Dispatch, and maybe we should give a little bit of a warning about when we're going to talk about Dispatch in case people want to get ahead or play Dispatch before we talk about it.
Okay. All right.
So I'm thinking maybe that's a good January, February topic somewhere in there.
Okay.
But anyway, I did finish Dispatch. It is a good game. People should play it. That's my quick review there. I
sent you another game a little bit ago, and I said, Chris, you absolutely have to play this game. So I think rhythm games are making a comeback. I don't know why, but they just right now there's a ton of rhythm games that are either coming out or have come out. But I found one the other day. I don't remember how maybe it was SkillUp that announced it on his weekly show of a rhythm game called Rhythm Doctor. And I started this game and I was like, oh, okay, what a generic name, whatever. No, you're a rhythm doctor. You're a doctor that takes care of patients using a rhythm. It is.
You're not explaining it well.
The game starts. Yeah, the game starts and it says tap. It's one button. The whole game is one button. It's your space bar. If you're playing on PC, I'm sure it's the A button if you're playing on something else. And the whole premise of the game is that you hit the one button to the beat, when you're supposed to hit it. The first level is you hit the space bar on the 7th beat, which is really if you're a music nerd, it's the beat fourth. 4 of the 4, 4/4. And it does 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you hit it on 4, but it obviously gets way harder from there. And it's so clever. It's so simple. It's so stupid fun. And the music is actually quite good.
The music is quite good. I will definitely agree with that. I picked this up and I have played it. I played it on the Steam Deck, which, in case you're curious, every button is the button when you're playing on a Steam Deck.
Okay.
It's every button on the Steam Deck except for the D-pad works. So you can press any of the triggers, any of the bumper buttons, any of the grip buttons.
That's funny.
They all just do it. Any of the face buttons, yes, they just all of them. But then the problem is I expect that to work through the whole game, and you still have to press A to advance the dialogue. So it's not always one button, but anyway, it's when you're playing the rhythm part, it's literally any button on the Steam Deck.
There's a level in the game that I'm going to try very hard not to spoil that does something meta.
Yes.
It is the second boss stage.
Boss. Mm-hmm. Yep.
How did it do it on the did it do it on this? I can't ask how did it do it.
No, it did.
It did do it?
It did.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it did do it, and it was very cool. I do have to ask you, because we're talking about it now, how many acts are there? Have you finished it?
I have not finished it. I am in Act 6.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Because I'm in Act 4 right now, and I was worried that I was running out of content.
It shows you the percentage. Have you done any of the nighttime? So one of the nice things is you play all the levels, but you can also play them on the, quote, night shift. You're the night shift doctor, and it's the same levels, but harder.
Okay. No, I haven't played any of those yet, but I have seen them, and I was trying to get through more of the actual story and then go to those.
They're fun. They're fun. I would recommend going back and playing a couple, just to see what's different about them and what they are. Like, this is like a kind of a mini spoiler. There's a little bit of a love story, and you experience it from the boys' perspective on the day shift, but you experience it from the girls' perspective on the night shift.
Ah, okay. All right.
So that's kind of fun.
Clever. I really enjoyed the coffee shop girl thing. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a tough level, was it not?
Yeah, that was fun. I do want to try it.
It took me 3 or 4 tries.
Yeah, and that was the other piece. Is I was going back and doing them. I wanted to get at least A+ on all of them, and I don't think I've done that on everything, but I've done it on most things.
Oh, I started giving up on that.
Yeah, well, it won't let you go if you don't get at least a B+. It won't let you go forward.
A beat, yeah. There's one where you have to follow 4 beats at the same time.
Oh,
that one gave me a lot of trouble.
I don't know if it's the same one I'm thinking of, but like anytime there's more than 2, I struggle hard.
Yeah, it was on the train.
Okay, I'm just gotten to the train, so I'm
okay,
not quite there yet. But I look forward to the pain that sounds like.
It's fun. I mean, it's cool, and the thing I've really noticed about this game is because each level is a different song. Like you actually learn the songs and you actually learn the beats, and like playing them 2 or 3 or 4 times, just like most rhythm games, but like playing them 2 or 3 or 4 times, you actually get better, right?
Sure, yeah.
And it's only one button. So it's not like it's a mechanically get better. You're actually like learning the beat and getting better with the song, which I thought it was really good. Particularly you were talking about the coffee one. They take away some of the visual guide in that level.
Yes.
So like you can't see visually when you're supposed to hit the beat. So you really have to listen, and it's kind of like a different beat. It introduces like jazz or swing. So it's a little difficult. So the first time I did horribly. Second time did a little better. Third time and like as you're learning the swing, right? You're learning the song. You get better and better at it. And I just, it's frustrating the first time when you can't just move on in the story, but then like you really do. I'm going to do it, Chris. You really do get a sense of pride and accomplishment as you play the game, because you do get better at it. And it really does like kind of drive that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, this game was definitely a hidden gem. I'm very glad that you sent it to me, and I had a lot of fun with it, or am having a lot of fun with it. This makes me want to find more games like this. Like, I don't know if they exist, but like, it does make me want to find them.
I know of one other. Let's see. I think I put it on my wish list. I'm scrolling. This game was developed by Bits and Bops. That's their other game.
Okay. There's a crossover level for that.
Yes. And Bits and Bops, I don't know if you've ever seen like the viral like TikToks or whatever, where the person is hitting the hammer on the nails to the beat.
No, but okay.
Have you ever seen that? Well, if anyone's ever seen that is from the Bits and Bops game, which does have a demo. But apparently the Bits and Bops is just like a bunch of rhythm mini games. It's not like there isn't like an overall like theme like there is in Rhythm Doctor.
Okay, sure.
But then the other one that came out recently that is rhythm based is Unbeatable.
Okay.
Which was supposed to come out, I think, around the time of Slay the Spire 2, and then got delayed when it got announced. And then, oh, no. What was the Silk Song? It was supposed to come around. Silk Song got announced. They delayed. But this one reminds me a lot more of like Hi-Fi Rush, but 2D, like comic book stuff. I mean, I guess Hi-Fi Rush was a lot like that. So it's also a rhythm game. It's not one button though. It's a little bit more intricate than that.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. This looks interesting.
I'm rediscovering my love for rhythm games.
Do you have Melatonin? Have you played the game Melatonin?
I think we've talked about it on the show before. I don't think I ever bought Melatonin.
Yeah, I feel like we did talk about it, and I think I saw on Steam that you hadn't bought it, and I was surprised because it is in a bundle with Rhythm Doctor, and so I figured that it's a natural next step kind of thing.
Oh, I could just buy it. I could just buy the other half of the bundle.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Is it a rhythm game?
It is a rhythm game without cues. It's like a cozy rhythm game, I think, is kind of the idea.
Okay. All right, I'm into this. And then the other thing that I want to go back, that what this has reminded me to go back and keep playing is Rift of the Necrodancer.
Oh yeah,
because it got a DLC.
Oh really?
Like a paid DLC with a bunch of additional stuff.
Oh.
So I might have to go back and play that game again. That was a great game. Little short, but it was a great game.
Yeah, I played the demo a lot, and eventually we'll go back and play the actual game at some point. It's on sale right now. Rift of the Necrodancer is.
Yeah, 35%.
Wow. There's too many
Steam
games,
Deck
Jason.
verified.
There's too many games. I think I played it on the Steam Deck.
There
It was
too many games.
It was weird on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, because it's up, left, and right, and you said there were like a combination of buttons you have to hit
Or something.
like that.
The buttons were weird. I didn't like the way they did the buttons on the controller, and it would have been better on the keyboard, or was better on the keyboard.